Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And guys and girls, if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live and upload another video. And today I want to talk about Brian Laundrie, the recovery and the water, how high it was on the 19th of September and how high it got towards the end of the month. We're just going to go into that and we're going to talk about evidence collection. But before I do that, let's bring on our co-host. He is a 20 plus year veteran of the NYPD. It's Ed Wallace, crime scene investigator, first grade retired detective. Here he is joining us. He's doing double duty because we're going to have 3 shows today. We did a members only earlier, me and Ed, and we're doing this now, and we're going to do another one tonight at 8 o'clock.
Triple duty, but we're up to the task. We are NYPD strong. I'll put the OT slip in time.
Yeah, I'll approve as much time as you want. Anything
okay.
has to go through the CO. That's my wife.
All right.
Sherry, thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you to everyone joining, my Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively interact in all of these live streams. You guys are an intricate part of the wheels running smoothly. So I thank you guys for that. Thank you so much. I got a small piece of media I want to show. This is from NBC. Everybody is up in arms, Ed, about the recovery, how it's going down. Is it a partial, piece of the head? Is it pieces of the body? We don't know. All we know is what they're giving us. But there's also the controversy about water levels. And I get so many questions, and you and I field so many things, questions about this. So we're going to talk about that today quickly on a live stream. But before we do, I'm going to play just a little bit of media. Thank you, Marie, for the $20 super chat. Let me just get that really quick and put that up and say thank you. Wait, there was one I missed. Alicia sends in a $5 super chat and says, please reach out to Andy and Popcorn Planet for charity event and Signor. Thank you, Andy Signor. Okay. Yes, I will do that. Appreciate that super chat. Let me go back because I did get a message from him, actually. Another $20 comes in from Marie, super sticker. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's look at this media and we'll get going with the show.
The search for Brian Laundrie is over, but the search for answers about his death remain. Tonight, the nature reserve where search teams made the grim discovery, now open to the public after being closed for a month.
This tiny little park here in Northport, Florida, who'd have thought that this kind of frenzy would be generated?
Cameras getting a close look at the scene for the first time, seeing how dense the woods are and how wet the area is. Laundrie's remains were found in this area deep in the reserve that was recently underwater. Much of the reserve is untamed swamp, home to alligators, snakes, and wild pigs. While the FBI says dental records confirm Laundrie's identity, more information is needed from his remains, which include a portion of a human skull, to determine exactly how the 23-year-old died. After a medical examiner was unable to determine cause of death, the Laundrie family attorney tells NBC News the remains were sent to an anthropologist for further evaluation. The anthropologist specializes in analyzing hard tissues such as bones. Forensic pathologist Dr. Priya Banerjee says investigators will likely use X-rays on the remains, searching for anomalies and fractures or any objects within the bone. But she says determining a cause of death will be a challenge.
I don't envy my colleagues. All the tissues are no longer there. And if there were some sort of trauma, you may not see it. It's like you can't complete a puzzle if you're missing many pieces.
Authorities began a massive manhunt for Laundrie after his fiancée, Gabby Petito, went missing in August. Laundrie named a person of interest in her murder after her remains were found in a Wyoming national park. At Laundrie's parents' home today, a request for privacy.
We're sorry for your loss. Thank you. Katie Beck joins me now. Katie, you're getting a close-up look inside the reserve. How severe are the conditions there?
Well, Jose, the conditions are quite extreme. And while we know Brian Laundrie was an experienced survivalist, the heat here, the wildlife, as well as the flooding, these would be difficult circumstances for anyone to endure over a long period of time. Jose?
So there you have it, folks. Again, that was a good recap of a lot of the challenges and some of the things that we have questions about. Many of us question how the Northport Police Department mistook Brian Laundrie's mother for him when it was the surveillance going on. There's just so many ball drops in this investigation. It's got everybody on high alert, and everyone's questioning everything. Ed, you and I spoke about this privately, and we speak behind the scenes quite a bit. Yes, we're scratching our heads as seasoned investigators. How could this have happened? Why did it happen? The answers are many and wide. We don't know exactly how they dropped the ball, but they certainly did drop the ball when it came to the surveillance. But we can't say that, FBI and local police are behind Roberta and Chris Laundrie going out to that reserve and throwing evidence on the floor and knowingly know that they went there to do that. Now, we don't know if they went there beforehand. That's up to the investigators to figure out. But I can tell you this. We received so many questions, Ed, and you know this because we spoke about it, about the water levels. And we did do some research. There's a lot of really great stuff. I looked at a Reddit board that had an unbelievable amount of graphs, and it looked like from the 19th, which we're going to show video from the 19th. I want you guys to all see this 19th search for Brian Laundrie. Don't forget, on the 19th, Gabby Petito was still they were still searching for her remains as well. So I'm going to just play a little piece from WFLA now. But Ed, do you have anything to add into this about some of the fumbles and missteps that Northport PD had occurred early on in this investigation?
Well, the FBI is the lead in this, and right. I don't understand why it seems like they're farming this out to the Northport PD. Okay, they should be responsible for what's going on here. Okay, the crimes they're alleged to have occurred in Wyoming, in Federal Park. They're the lead. The Denver office has the lead, and I just don't understand. It's really not Northport PD's responsibility because all the crimes that are under investigation for the murder of Gabby and so forth are in their jurisdiction. So.
All right, we're getting a little bit of audio. I hear it in my headphones, and thank you to everybody in the chat about the sound. So why don't you go out and then just come back in? I think that might fix it because it's not a fuzziness, but it's like a crackling. So I'm going to play this little bit of media. It's just a little bit. I want to show everybody it, and then just if you can, just go out and come on back in. All right, we're going to fix that, but let's show this little piece of media here, and we'll get that going for you guys to see. This is going to be from the 19th, okay, guys? This is the 19th of September, and it's just a little bit of aerial from WFLA. So let's show this quickly, and then we'll add Ed back into the stream. There he is. Ed, just give me a 1-2 test.
1-2, 1-2.
Perfect. All right, technology. We got that figured out. All right, so you're 100%. I'm going to show just a little bit of aerial. I'll leave us on the screen because there's going to be no audio to it. But this is September 19th, and it gives us gives the viewership and everybody a good look on September 19th what we have going on. I'll go full screen so it's a better view for everybody. And this is from courtesy of WFLA now. So here's a look at the Carlton Reserve and the adjoining Mayacahatchee Reserve. So look at the water levels here at this time, and this isn't even fully. This isn't even what they were looking at complete. I'm just going to move forward in this so you guys can get a little look at some of the buggy and the searches that they're doing down on the ground. There's JB and Evan Donovan. So they're giving you a bird's eye view from the helicopter, what they were dealing with on September 19th. So we're going to fast forward going into September 26th. And that piece that we're going to show from the gentleman that did that piece on Fox, it's going to show you in just eight days later, what this looked like. So this is a good clip because it's showing these dune buggies and some of the search personnel of some of the adversity that they're facing here, Ed. But this doesn't really do us justice right now because we're going to see the water is going to be up almost you're going to see it's going to be up over 2 feet in the next clip that we show. But yeah, look at that. They're inside. There's a lot of guys inside that buggy. They might even be stuck there, but that's what's happening.
And they're wearing hip waders.
Yeah, exactly. So this gives us a good view of what they were dealing with early on. Now, don't forget, September 19th, Gabby Petito, still, according to this broadcast, they're still searching for her. They have her listed right down below there. It says Gabby's still missing. So her remains were not even recovered over in the Grand Teton and the Spread Creek at this point. But we see these news reporters getting this coverage from the helicopter, and this is an invaluable tool for us to go back and look over time. So there's a K9 unit. There's 2, 4, 6 folks inside that buggy. They might be stuck there.
Yeah, that's an 8-wheeled amphibious all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah, so they aren't stuck. There they go. So they're going to go in, and that could float in water, right, and still propel you forward. Yeah, but they're avoiding that water because they probably don't know how deep it is. So this is a good piece, and I want to show you. I'm going to go fast forward because they follow them for quite a bit. I'm going to show you them down and into the water here. And this is a testament to the men and women, how brave they were going out there and searching for Brian Laundrie. And it was a long search. This wasn't just a one and done. They were there many days. And a lot of people are definitely second guessing them and pointing fingers. But these are the folks, these are the grunts that go out there and do the work. And they're brave because the alligators, the reptiles, we're going to have a specialist come on with us very shortly. Paul from the Gator Boys is going to join us and talk about some of the reptiles. Look at them there. That water is really high up on that vehicle there. Yeah, almost up to the 3/4 of the tire. It's a great shot.
I really wish these news agencies would get rid of these banners.
I know.
It blocks a lot of the stuff.
I know. Yeah, you're right. But it does give us a good idea of what the adversity they faced and how much of it. So I'm going to go just a little forward on this. And there's the helicopter pilot. Let's hear what he has to say.
Here, it's tough to see in it. So again, JB and Evan, I saw you guys were in, but again, this is what we're dealing with. We're out here kind of aiding in the search. We've talked to the aerial people, the sheriff's helicopter that's up, and what they're doing is they're doing a grid search. And what that means, I'll move the camera and show you. If you just look at this whole patch, if you would fly around aimlessly, it would take you a while to find. So a grid search, basically, if you put a piece of graph paper over this whole land and you basically fly up, turn around, fly back, fly up and back, and you would do a grid to cover the huge area. That's what the helicopter that's up is doing. Now, the ground crews are doing other stuff. They're following the paths that go through. But now, if I move the camera over here and show you, let's pick an area out here, there's really no path. So you could be anywhere out in this area. And again, it goes from this wide open area. And if you move over into here, this is a heavily wooded area. And if you look in here,
water, all water.
That's tough to see anything back in this area. And again, it's wet back here too. So for someone hiding, this is an area that would be very easy to hide and very easy to stay hidden. Because for one, the area is so big. For two,
but we're going to listen to an expert kind of debunk that the pilot talking there. It's not so easy to survive in those type of conditions. Ed, I'm going to put us back on because we're going to move on to the second piece of this. So that was September 19th. We're going to look at September 26th. So actually it was just 7 days later. So we'll look at a complete week later. And we're going to see some unbelievable footage of the same exact or similar location. And it's going to be interesting to see this. We're still able to talk on this, but I'm just going to play it and let the audio go at this.
We're at the entrance of the Myakkahatchee State Park. This is your main entrance in and out.
September 26th.
Vehicle-wise. This is where everybody comes, parks their bikes or their horse to ride the trails and all. And the location of Brian's vehicle was basically across from that oak tree right here on our left is where he had his vehicle parked, to our best of our knowledge. When it rains, it all comes up from Myakka City, Myakka River on down and flows this direction. And that side.
I'm going to let this go back from the beginning because I think we missed it.
We're at the entrance of the Myakkahatchee State Park. This is your main entrance in and out, vehicle-wise. This is where everybody comes, parks their bikes or their horse to ride the trails and all. And the location of Brian's vehicle was basically across from that oak tree right here on our left is where he had his vehicle parked, to our best of our knowledge. When it rains, it all comes up from Myakka City, Myakka River on down and flows it.
So that's the bridge that we all see that the vehicles were driving over, and that is just 7 days later. So this gives you guys a good visual of 7 days earlier. We showed the aerial shot, and now this is a local cowboy. They labeled this guy as a cowboy, a local cattle rancher, I believe he is, giving you guys a bird's eye view in his water buggy. And I think this depicts what conditions they were talking about and how the potential for his body to either move or, not be in the same spot from where he was either met his demise. It's an endless possibility of what ifs here.
This direction, and that side stays a lot wetter until we get it over here. This is what you would find in that 25,000 acres of the Carlton Reserve, except for a few high spots where the power lines are and a couple roads they have in there. And even the couple roads they have in there are massively underwet, just totally underwater. There's no surviving out here. I don't know how to say. I ride ranches. I'm out on horses all day with the dogs. When we're working cattle, we've got water to us in our saddlebags and all, but we're out here, out there riding for 12, 13 hours a day, starting at daylight. Time we get in at night, I don't see anybody can make it out here for 10 days, 5 days. There's no water supply. There's no fresh springs. There's no stores available, unless you go 12 miles either direction. There's just no possible way. No possible way. The mosquitoes would carry you off in the first night. If you can imagine how wet this is, imagine how wet that is. Well, I've been here most of my life. I've worked these lands since I was 15 years old. I used to run a ranch in Frostproof, 20,000 acres when I was younger. And I have my own places and cattle and stuff. So I've been in the woods in and out all my life. I'm no bounty hunter. I'm no tracker, but I have helped them look for things that have been missing a few times. And they did ask me a couple questions about the area over here, because here a while back I had some cattle get out and I had to go find them, and the land was very wet like it is now, just as very wet. And when we were back there, so what we did is we ran up along the creek on the high bank where we could with our horses, and we looked for areas that were dry, because of course any animal or human is going to go look for a dry spot before they stay in a wet spot. I've seen them go in and come out on these ATVs muddy from daylight to dark, eaten up by mosquitoes. They have been working their butts off to do everything they can to look for Brian. In my understanding, they just, I see them out there. I see them come in, they're wearing full gear in this heat and humidity. And, I can't appreciate it enough of what they're doing for us. This terrain here is 90% underwater. There's no place habitable. If he packed a backpack for a couple days, yeah. But, unless he's got hide like a gator, and nobody's going to survive with the mosquitoes and the bugs and this and that. And then we have the theory of people saying, oh, the gators have eaten him or something like that. You know, again, gators out here are more afraid of you than you are of them. You walk up on a gator 90% of the time, boom, they tell it and go the other way. Anything dead you find in the woods, you're going to look up, you're going to see buzzards flying like crazy. I've been on a horse, I've been in a car, and have seen buzzards down the road, 50 to 100 of them, pull up on them, and it's nothing but a squirrel. So, you know, you have a dead body out here, yeah, that is decomposing everything, and rigor mortis set in, you are going to see buzzards on it. You are going to see buzzards on it. There's plenty of people that know a lot more than I do, but I have learned a lot in my life. And one thing I know is nobody's going to survive over there for 2 weeks on foot. My mind, I would have been talking to everybody trying to find my children. There's no way I couldn't imagine losing a child. I couldn't imagine having a child missing like this.
Well, this was a great interview, and I wanted to show that, Ed, you and I watched this before a little, last night a little bit. It depicts an unbelievable difference, the difference in 7 days from the 19th. Now, the searches for Brian early on were very intense, and they lasted for long, long periods of time. Once it got to this point, they had to actually stop him. So, listen, nobody here is saying everything went hunky-dory, but a lot of people have a lot of questions. But what was your takeaway from this rancher?
Well, he showed from the ground view just how much water is there. And, in that short span that we showed you, 7 days from the first clip to this clip, how much water accumulated in this area. And he talked about a whole lot of other things, including buzzards and so forth. But if you're underwater, the buzzards aren't going to get to that. But other critters will get to that underwater.
Right. Yeah, here's a super chat, and this is a good question from Mary S511. She said, even if Brian were alive, which he's not, do you think he'd get off scot-free due to the incompetence of Northport PD?
Again, Northport PD is not the investigative body here. It's the FBI. All right. The FBI is looking at a homicide or murder of Gabby. Their prime suspect is Brian. He fled the scene. What's the crime in Florida? I don't see a crime in Florida.
Yeah, right.
Other than maybe, the tampering with evidence, or, he brought the van back, but, that could be multiple jurisdiction, but all these crimes occurred in Wyoming.
Right. And the authorities would be investigating and charging him with criminal charges, not in Northport, but in Wyoming, where the alleged incident occurred. So
Yep.
Again, people are harping on a lot of different things here. And, Gabby Petito's family reported their daughter missing to the Suffolk County Police Department. They, in turn, took a summary report, and they turned it over to Northport because that's where she resided.
Exactly.
She gave it to Northport. They came knocking on the door. It's on September 11th, the night of. And then once it was ascertained that he was home and she wasn't, they turned it over to, probably bounced it to Utah and then bounced it to Wyoming. So again, folks, there's so many unanswered questions. There's so many questions that are not applicable here. And not because people are wanting to ask questions that aren't applied to this, just people just don't know. They don't know the procedure and how it goes. Ed, you said it so well, and I said it so many different times in the comment section. The only crimes that would be investigated in Northport would be, like you said, evidence tampering or, possibly against the Laundrie family, if they could in fact prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they knew what occurred in Wyoming and suppressed it and hid him.
And again, I keep going back to it. The FBI is the lead.
Yeah. So the Federal Bureau of Investigation is not being spoken about enough in the true crime chat groups and the chat rooms, everyone's pointing fingers at Northport. Yes, they have a public information officer. Yes, they admitted that they made a mistake with the surveillance. But really, the Federal Bureau of Investigation should have been surveilling Brian Laundrie and his family and not Northport. So people here are asking, Spawny said, didn't Northport PD screw up the surveillance? Absolutely. That's what we're talking about. But they're acting on the lead investigation agency. They're acting on requests from the lead investigation agency to surveil, and they dropped the ball. Catman Records sends in a $5 super chat and says, who would be deciding the search grid, the FBI or Northport? Same as if New York City case in Central Park, FBI would direct. I know you can answer that, Ed, because I can't answer it.
Okay, so now the Northport PD's involvement here with Brian as a missing person. Okay, so their parents reporting their son missing. Okay, so they're looking for him as a missing person. No, there's not a crime there. Okay, so the search pattern for if the FBI is involved and they're looking for him because he's their prime suspect in Gabby's murder. So I can see them coordinating together and working together with the Northport PD. They have a warrant for Brian's arrest for credit card, the use of the credit card. So I would think that they would coordinate with the police department and assist in making these determinations on what kind of search patterns. In New York City, I'm not sure the case you're referring to, if you're talking about Central Park 5 or you're talking about any number of high-profile cases in Central Park. We would do that ourselves. We wouldn't have the FBI involved.
Yeah, I think they were just using the analogy as if someone went missing in Central Park, which is a big park.
Right. If there's no federal nexus to what's going on in the park, we would do it.
Right. And again, when Brian Laundrie and the Federal Bureau of Investigation issued that federal warrant for unauthorized use of the credit card, and they worded it differently. But when that charge came out, even prior to that, the FBI was investigating him for the unauthorized use and crossing state lines because he might have used it in various different states. That's what makes it become a federal crime is some of the aspects here. But again, Ed, the missing, when the Laundrie's called up and said, my son is missing, help us. When that call came in, then Northport does investigate that because the FBI is not going to investigate a missing persons. But you can have a perpetrator that's wanted for numerous different crimes in numerous different jurisdictions. That's not uncommon.
Okay, but when did the warrant come down for the credit card and when was he reported missing? And then there's overlap here.
Right. I believe the warrant for the credit card first and then the missing afterwards. So I think that's how it went down. I have a copy of it. I have a copy of it saved. I'd have to dig it up. But
in addition, people keep asking why Colorado FBI? Why Colorado? Well, these smaller states, smaller in population, may not, in many cases, have a FBI field office in that state. They have what's called an RA that's associated with, in this case, a bigger city in another state, such as Denver. Denver apparently covers Wyoming.
Right. Right. And that's the reason. So I'm just pulling up FBI Denver because I think that they still have that federal warrant up on their Twitter. So I'm just going to do a quick scan because I looked on my hard drive. Oh, here it is. Human remains. It was before this. So I want to get that so we can put that up. Statement on arrest warrant. There it is.
Yeah, but that doesn't preclude FBI Denver contacting FBI in Florida to go out there and assist here in this investigation. Right.
So here's the warrant. It's a news release for immediate release. So September 22nd, U.S. District Court in Wyoming issued a federal arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie. So it was actually after
right
parents. Yeah. So
so the Northport PD is searching this area before the warrant
Yes.
on a missing persons case.
Right. Which makes sense.
So at that point, the FBI may or may not have coordinated with the Northport PD.
Right. All right. So, but this, again, I wanted to really speak about the water levels, and people, were getting caught up and held up on that whole water level thing. It's like, oh, they're just setting up a ruse. It's not true that the water, it looks like it is definitely the case. Now, I have the graphs from everybody saying, oh, go over and look at this guy. And it was on a Reddit board, and it was a really detailed graph of how the water has come up in at the Carlton Reserve and at Myakkahatchee. So it really is. I want to show it, but I'm not sure if I can still show it perfectly. But it really, the guy did an unbelievable job of really just tracking how the water levels went up and then how they receded once we came into October. So it was really interesting. But I want to say hello to everybody in the chat, and I appreciate folks coming in. Let me know where you're watching me and Ed, city, state, country, just so we could just get an idea. I'm not going to shout everybody out, but I want to just see where people are listening in from, where you guys are tuning in from outside, inside the country. So let me just take a quick peek at the chat. I always like to see this. Joe Murray, great to see you. Thank you for joining. That's our criminal defense attorney, great friend of Crime Time with DutyRon. Tasmania, Australia. Nice. Jupiter, Florida, checking in. Excellent. Hillary Collins is checking in from Ireland. Hi, Hillary. Love to see you always. Hello from Scotland, Paws and Fins. Thank you so much. Sweden. All right, so there's a lot of people from all over the place. A lot of the United States, down in New England, Montana, Scotland again, Ohio. The chat goes crazy when I do this. So a lot of people just checking in from all over the place. So thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Trevor Lee is from Tennessee. He's a good friend. That's the college student who put up $2,000 for the Gabby Petito for the Summer Wells case. So thank you for that. Trevor Lee, always great to see you. But yeah, so Ed, this is a complex case. Our forensic anthropologists, we got last minute or early sometime this morning, he reached out to you, or you reached out to him, and he is unable to make it tonight at 8 o'clock. You want to talk about the rescheduling and what went on with that?
Yes. So Dr. Mike Warren is in between homes out in Colorado, and he's living out of a hotel right now. And so he contacted me early this morning via email that unfortunately he's going to have to back out of today's show, and that he would reschedule shortly once things kind of calm down with his residency issues and helping his daughter and their new baby and so forth. So hopefully we'll get back to him. Then I reached out to another contact, another forensic anthropologist, and she can't help us, and she's not allowed to speak about the Brian Laundrie case. And I have another call out to Dr. Murray Marks from the Body Farm at UT, and hopefully he'll get back to me, and then we can get him scheduled real quick.
Yeah, we got a lot of great shows coming up for you guys. So I encourage you to please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get all things DutyRon and Ed when we go live or upload a video. Lee, thank you for the greetings from Berlin, Germany. I love your show. May the force be with you. May the force be right back with you. Thank you for that. A lot of people checking in from all over the place. There's someone from Tamworth, England. Great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining. So again, folks, life goes on. People have a lot of things going on, but the questions are long and deep. There's so many different variations of questions about Brian Laundrie. Why aren't they investigating this as him being a victim of a homicide? What about the remains? We don't know the exact amount, what they have. We know that they need a forensic anthropologist or anthropologists, plural, to work on this case and come in and supplement it. So they don't really probably have a great deal of bones recovered, but we don't know. Maybe they do. It's just, for me, I just feel like if they had a fully intact skeletal remains, a lot of these questions would be answered, and they'd be answered sooner than later. This is going to take a long time, as we heard that forensic anthropologist on the NBC piece. She said it's like trying to put a puzzle together without the pieces, right? And Ed, you know this better than anybody. I know you're scanning the chat right now. Ed is a hawk. Ed is like got the eagle eyes, and he pays attention to the chat. So thank you for doing that, Ed. It's hard for me to keep track of the chat, and it's always good to have a second pair of eyes. Anything jumping out at you that you want to address?
Well, yeah, there's a question that keeps popping up from all of our shows, is about, doesn't a body float?
Right.
Okay.
That's a good one.
A lot of times a body will float for a little bit before they sink, and then
Can you explain why that happens?
Okay, if the body is intact and it wasn't eviscerated, or there was no large openings or defects caused to the cavity of the body and so forth, then the body will float shortly and then sink, and then over time, several factors will impact the body floating back to the surface. If the body, again, these are if the body is not intentionally weighed down or eviscerated to the point where water fills in, or any other type of like concrete or stones were used to weigh the body down or placed in a bag and so forth. The body will float, then sink, and then based on water temperature and the decomp gases that will build up inside the body, when the water temperature rises, a little later, the gases build up. The body will then come and float back up to the surface. Now, we used to get this a lot in Hudson River, New York Bay, and the East River, and we called them floaters. So, sometimes they would be put in the water in the winter, and then they would sink, and then in the spring, they would pop up to the surface.
Right. Yeah, we got floaters quite a bit in all of the surrounding 5-borough waterways. It was a common, unfortunately, it was a common call, especially in the summertime. One of our Facebook users who failed to authenticate with StreamYard. So if you don't give permission to StreamYard to show your account, we don't know who's answering this question. It just comes up with an anonymous Facebook user. Why can't they get, and this is a common question and it's repetitive, why can't they get DNA from bones found? Can't they scrape the bones and to get samples? They can get DNA from the bones.
Yes, absolutely. They can get DNA from the bones. We did it with the 9/11 victims.
Yeah. So it was a common practice that was done during September 11th and the days thereafter in recovery. We heard Barbara Butcher talk about her DNA team that was there with body, with parts, with bones and body parts and things of that nature. And my own cousin was identified in April of 2002 by DNA. We had to bring his hairbrush, his toothbrush down to the family center off of the over right by the ship, by the pier. And I escorted my family there, and then that's how they were able to identify him through DNA.
I was speaking about this earlier with you, Ron, about how I was hoping that there was some kind of tissue, muscle, ligaments, tendons, something left that they could potentially get hair even and perform some toxicology to see if maybe Brian overdosed. Something to that effect, but I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't heard anything other than skeletal remains. It seems there was no tissue or muscle or ligaments and cartilage and so forth.
Ed, here's a viewer who wasn't present or didn't watch our replay, our live stream with the forensic odontologist that we had come on. Dr. Larry talked about this exact question. Lynn S. Mesa, thank you for that question. We had a forensic dentist, an odontologist came on and explained to us that the identification through dentistry and through the teeth is 100%. He said it, not us. And this question was asked. They can get DNA from the root and right from he used another word, Ed. Was it the not the enamel? He said from the root of the tooth, like
No, the pulp.
pulp. Thank you.
Yes.
You go. It's like orange juice, so it's like the pulp from the tooth.
Yes.
So yes, very good question, but you got to watch the replay and go over to our replays and give a watch in the Gabby Petito playlist. And there's a forensic odontologist that joined us, and you'll get a lot of info from that.
From the bone, you can get a full genetic DNA sample of both the mother and the father.
Right.
From the hair, it's just going to be mitochondrial DNA, just the mother. But we don't see any hair here. We don't hear we don't hear about any hair in this case. So
yes, thank you. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Doughboy22 sends in a message. Do gators eat underwater? Guess what, Doughboy? Tonight at 8 p.m., in lieu of our forensic anthropologist, we are deciding to go forward with a live stream with Paul from the Gator Boys, and he's going to talk about how the alligators eat in the southern part of Florida, in Alligator Alley, and all along the West Coast and the East Coast, for that matter. He is an expert at capturing alligators and also all kind of reptile and snakes and all. We're going to talk about everything wildlife tonight with our guest, Paul from the Gator Boys. And I just was able to secure him quickly while we were on a members only live stream. And I made contact with him. He's going to join us tonight. I don't think you want to miss that live tonight. It's going to be fascinating. We're going to talk strictly about consumption. If you're out there and you're unconscious or you get lost in the wild, things to do and things not to do. And we're going to also get some safety tips from him too.
And I tell you what, alligators, some good eating. I've had plenty of alligator down in Louisiana, blackened, fried, you name it. It's delicious.
I've never eaten it. And my wife would probably get mad at me if I did. I've also never had deer meat. I never eaten venison.
Venison is good too.
Yeah. So, but anyways, by a show of hands here in the chat, who has fancied alligator meat? Just by a show of hands. If you have, press a 1. If you haven't and you would never, press a 2. And if you're grossed out by it, press a 3. I'm giving 3 choices today. We did a really cool giveaway on the live stream. I'm not sure if we should do it here because we're going to get ready to wrap up and get ready for our 3rd show later on. But it looks like there's a lot of number 2s and there's a lot of number 3s. Ooh, Ed. What do you think?
No, it's not for everybody, but if when in Rome, you gotta go with the flow. So I travel all around the world, and if you're squeamish, you're gonna starve.
Right. All right. So here's coming from criminal defense. Yeah, you got to eat. You have to eat. Sometimes you got to just, bite the bullet on it, so to speak. All right. So Joe Murray, our criminal defense attorney and friend, says, "Hey, brother, I just checked Pacer, and Brian Christopher Laundrie is still wanted pursuant to the amended arrest warrant. Usually warrants do not get purged until someone's death is confirmed. And or a judge, you bring this is what we had to do in Fugitive, and I can tell you this because I'm an expert at this. We used to have to go to the family and request a death certificate and then go personal. It's a personal appearance. It requires a law enforcement professional to go in before a judge with the death certificate, and then and only then do they expunge that warrant. So because that warrant's still active, don't get your panties in a ruffle. Don't get excited. Don't think, oh, Brian Laundrie's still alive. No, that process just has not occurred. You want to?
I know exactly. Same thing. My son is in Brooklyn South Warrants, and he had a person that was dead, but he couldn't close the case and close out the warrant until he got that death certificate from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office.
Right. So that's not always easy to get. And in a high profile case like this, I would imagine that, they will eventually do that. So Chris Cannon 123 says, I've had gator kebabs, Chris.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Chris,
did you have any remoulade with it?
So there we go. I hope that we have covered. I know that we can't get to everybody's questions and everybody's answers. It's hard for us to get the answers out for all of these questions because we'd be going all over the place. The Papa Smurf, the OG, says, former coroner myself, DutyRon and Ed Wallace are correct. I'm going to make it. I'm not going to say is correct. I'm going to say are correct. Thank you so much, the Papa Smurf, the OG. Thank you for what you've done. Being a former coroner is not an easy job. As they say, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it, right? So again, I wanted to test out this giveaway from my DutyRon pen here. Let me show it. Where is it? Where's the good one? I have an old one.
Serenity Now writes, I've had frog legs, not bad.
I got
too many bones for me.
Yuck. All right, so this is the Crime Time with DutyRon. It's a giveaway pen that I had made up. It's a little thing. We're gonna do a little test, so to speak, with this. Let me get this up and see if I could do this with you guys. We'll give away 2 of these pens on this live stream, and you can only enter once. You can only do it once. So let me get the StreamYard giveaway tool and find the broadcast. There it is. All right, I'm going to make it easy. All you got to do is put in hashtag DutyRon. First time I did it, I put DutyRon and Ed. It was just too much for everybody to type. Plus, we have 2,400 people. Whoever wants to get a pen, you're going to have to, when you win, you're going to have to, so go ahead and put the hashtag DutyRon in the chat. It'll make you enter. You can only do it once, because if you do it 5 times, it's not going to be 5 entries. So put in hashtag DutyRon in the comments, and we'll do a generated fun giveaway. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 of these. Ed, what do you think?
Okay, sounds good. I got another question here. People always ask, what does the smell of death smell like? And so here's what you can do. Get a piece of chicken wing, put it out in your backyard on a piece of aluminum foil, and just let it sit there. And you'll see when the insects comes, the flies and so forth. And if you have a carcass of a chicken, that will work as well. And you'll see when the flies will come there and lay their eggs, and you'll see the maggots. But you got to have meat on it, though. You have to have something for them to feed on. And then over time, you'll start to smell it. But again, you're inviting critters also to come too. Your raccoons and things of that nature. They'll scent this. The birds will come as well. You can do your own little experiment if you wish, and then after some time you'll get that smell out of that piece of chicken.
Wow. Ed Wallace is always giving us good tidbits here, and I got to tell you, that's an interesting one. We have 200 entries so far.
Wow.
So hashtag DutyRon. You got to do it right. I see some people are spelling it wrong. If you spell it DURYON, you're not in it, Cindy. So that's a mistake right there. This is how it's got to be, right like that. So Jen Lowe, one of my great moderators and friends, she has it right. Chris says gross. Chris Cannon, who did agree about the alligator kebabs, says gross to what you just said.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying, if you want to experience it for yourself, I mean, many of you are not in law enforcement or EMS or medical examiners, so you're
right.
not going to know what that smell like. Maybe some of you might if you were on a battlefield somewhere, served in our military service, and came upon some dead bodies in the battlefield. But yeah, other than that, this is the only way you're going to get to smell it.
So the chosen one is still, but how did he die? We're going to find out the cause and manner, hopefully in the weeks to come. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to go out on a limb. Me and Ed will say that it's not going to be a quick process. It's going to take at least a good deal of time, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know, but it's not going to be something that we're going to get answers for right away. Ed, what do you look? We got something good in the chat?
Yeah. One of our reviewers, right? I don't think the landlady would like this very much. And I said, yeah, if you don't own the property, don't do it.
Don't do it. 300 entries into the giveaway. I think I'm going to show you guys what this giveaway thing looks like. I'm going to go full screen, Ed. So this is it. As soon as I hit the draw thing, it'll randomly select. So I'll wait until this gets up to 300. It's actually 264 right now. It's climbing. We're at 267. So keep putting in, if you haven't, hashtag DutyRon in the chat to be entered in 272. The numbers keep going up. So it's going to be fun. 275. I'll wait till we hit 300, and then we'll let that thing rock and roll. And just so you know, you don't have to keep putting in DutyRon. If you do it once, you could, because it won't count if you do it more than once. So just so you know, that's why the numbers aren't 1,000, but we do have 2,400 folks watching, according to my StreamYard. That's a combination of Facebook and YouTube. I'd like to see this number get up close to 500, and then I'll hit the draw button, and then it will go through them, and it will randomly select one person. Maybe we'll do, instead of 2, we'll do 5 pens. We'll give 5 pens away. Let's start it. Let's do 1 because we're up to 360 right now. We'll do the first one. This is exciting. This is really exciting. The numbers keep going up. I'll go full screen on this because it's a really cool thing to look at. All right, so I'm going to do the draw. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's going to win a DutyRon pen? 385 people are on in the mix. Here we go. I got my pen ready. XXUBXX.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yes, XXUB. Send a message on DutyRon.com and write in there winner of pen giveaway, and we will get your pen out to you. I need your name and your address, and then we'll send you out. You're the winner, XXUBXX. And the picture says, I love you, absolutely, and I can't see it all, to heaven. Oh, wow, beautiful. Beautiful message in your profile picture. All right, the numbers keep going up. There's 410 people in the mix. We're going to do giveaway number 2. We're going to do giveaway number 2. Ed's laughing at me.
Not you. I'm looking at the chats.
Okay. Could be a combination of either or. I'm getting all giddy over this because it's a new thing. So 417 people in climbing in on the giveaway. Let's do another one.
You know, I made the analogy that this was like watching a slot machine, but it's more like the roulette wheel.
All right, here we go. Who's going to win this time? 424 people have entered. Hashtag DutyRon in the comments for a DutyRon pen. Here we go. Here goes our second one. Get my thing down. So far, I've given away 9 of these today. How do you pronounce that? Juneda. Is that right? Juneda? Ed's trying to be safe. He's not going to. Congratulations, Juneda or Junida, however you say it. Thank you so much for participating in the DutyRon pen giveaway. This is what you. Hold on, let me go full screen. Let me get it.
I think the second valve is silent. So,
all right,
Junida.
There you go. That's right. I think I said Junida.
Yeah, you got it.
Subscribe to DutyRon on YouTube. There it is, DutyRon.com. And then, come on.
It's not focusing. There you go. You got it.
These are cool pens because it has a little stylus on it, and it really writes nice. I really like these pens. So congratulations to those 2 winners. We'll do one more before we end the show because there's close to 500 people in the drawing. So when that gets up to 500, we're up to 475. I'll do one more. We'll do one more.
She said we said it right, Ron. She said we said it right.
Yeah, she said thank you. And let me see what she said. Oh, yeah. Look at that. There you go. Yahtzee. All right. I'm not too bad. Sometimes I really stink at it, and sometimes I'm good at it. So it works. It really works. So people are saying, here's a question in the chat. So it's too late to question Brian Laundrie. Yeah, I would say that. Yes.
Well, the dead do speak, but only through people like myself, Barbara Butcher, forensic anthropologists, so forth and so on.
There you go. All right, we're close to getting to that 500 mark, the 485. We need just a couple more folks to get in here and get on in and put a hashtag DutyRon in the chat. If we don't hit the 500, I'll still do it, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm hoping everybody enjoys this. Let me know in the comments section. Let me go full screen for this. Let me know in the comments section if you like these kind of giveaways. I mean, I can't do these during shows where we have like expert guests joining us. This is just a fun thing that StreamYard just added to the lineup. So I figured I'd test it out with you. I did it with the members only earlier with Ed, and now we're doing it again. So that's 9 pens. I'm going to give away another one. That would be 10 pens that we gave away. 5 to the members and 5, well, more than 5 to the members. But we're doing more than what we should have. I said we would do 2, so we're going to do an extra one here. But just let me know in the comments if you like it. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Go over to my social media, all one word, DutyRon. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my DutyRon.com website, where everything that we speak about and all the links to special guests and groups and books. Peter Pranzo's book is on DutyRon.com, where you could see the Harlem Raiders, and all of his writings that he has done. He's a retired lieutenant from the NYPD. Awesome guy. We're going to have Paul from the Gator Boys tonight to talk about. We're going to talk about the wildlife in the reserve. All right, here we go. We're going to do the last pen. 520 people have joined. Put the entries in. You can see it up in the upper right hand corner here. 520. The winner of the last one. So you can't have the same winner twice. So here we go. 523 people, and we're going to hit the button. Should I wait till 525? Let's wait till 525. One more. Come on, one more person. All right, there we go. 525. Let's do it. So exciting. I can't wait for Josh to give me the music, because I'm going to get music when it wins. Suzanne S. And she's a subscriber as well. That's the 10th winner. Suzanne S. Congratulations. Send me a message on DutyRon.com. Everybody who won the pen, I have it written down. Just give me your screen name, and we'll get it out to you. We'll get the pen out to you. Thank you so much for everyone joining here today. Make sure you hit the notification. I'm going to schedule an 8 o'clock live stream. Me and Ed are going to be doing triple duty tonight. It's going to be a short one, only 30 minutes, with our alligator expert from the Gator Boys, Paul. We're going to talk about Brian Laundrie, what the possibilities are of gators getting at him, and what they would do to him if they did get at him. We're going to talk about snakes, poisonous, venomous snakes. We're going to talk about also other wildlife, the boars and hogs, the wild pigs that are out there, and
turtles, crabs,
everything. Yeah.
My Louisiana friends, I tell you what, a crawfish can do a number on a human being.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pick this guy's brain apart, and he represents the Gator Boys, and he had a show on Animal Planet. I think it's still on, and we'll talk to him. Paul's a great guy, and he was so kind to say, hey, whatever you need from me, I'll come and talk to you. So he's going to come on with us tonight. We're going to get into the studio a little bit early. So I'm looking forward to each and every one of you joining us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Look for the scheduled live stream. I'll do it right after this. Let me show the Gator Boys on Instagram really quick. Hold on a second. Where are we? Wait.
Not to be confused with the Louisiana Gator Boys from that terrible movie, Blues Brothers 2000.
Thank you for that, Ed. All right, here's his Instagram. This is going to be interesting. So it's the Gator Boys Alligator Rescue on Instagram. Go over and follow him, and here's some of his posts. This is the gentleman who's going to be joining us. Oh, can't do that. All right, so here's some of his pictures, and here's some of his gators. Let's go full screen with this so we can see it. This is who will join us. And, primarily, I think he's going out to people's homes and getting them out of their backyards. But look at the snakes over here. Oof. So he's got a lot of pictures, and very knowledgeable guy when it comes to, this is somebody who you would want to speak to in regards to this. So you go over to his Instagram and you'll see a lot of good stuff. Look at this snake shot here. Wow. Holy crap.
I don't think I would go nose to nose with a gator underwater like that. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
In the bottom right?
Yeah. He's, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He has a rescue. They do the rescue. So he has like a sanctuary for these, for the gators. And his partner, Chris, the guy who I was trying to get on, and Gabby, that's Chris's girlfriend. I think he's in Peru or outside the country doing some kind of stuff, doing some kind of work. Look at him over here.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. All right, guys, that's enough. That's going to be our guest for tonight. I wish everybody a great afternoon and a great evening, a great day, no matter where you are in the world. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, and all victims of crime and their families across the globe. I appreciate you joining in. On behalf of Ed Wallace and myself, wish you guys a great day, and we'll see you in a few hours. Peace from New York, and Ed is not in an undisclosed location, but he's not in New York.
Peace from Jersey.
Jersey. He's a Jersey boy. All right, I'll see you guys soon.
I'm a Benny.
Take care, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.